It's 1:54. You're listening to Shades of Jazz on WMRT Marietta. In news at this hour, an American hostage freed from captivity in Iran because of illness is undergoing physical checks at a hospital in Zurich, Switzerland. Richard Queen arrived in Zurich this morning and was immediately rushed to a hospital. A spokesman for the U.S. Embassy in Bern says there is nothing wrong with the 28-year-old diplomat. He says a decision will be made tomorrow whether to return him to the U.S. or to send him to a U.S. Air Force hospital in West Germany. City officials in Detroit are optimistic about settling a strike by municipal workers that threatens to disrupt next week's Republican National Convention. The 11-day dispute has left garbage piling up and has idled city buses. Talks, which broke off yesterday, have been resumed, and there are indications that a major breakthrough may be imminent. United Auto Workers President Douglas Frazier met with Republican leaders in Detroit for the GOP National Convention today, and he had some good news and some bad news. Frazier says rising unemployment is driving some workers to Ronald Reagan's candidacy, but he believes it is only a remote possibility that Reagan would get the UAW Executive Council endorsement. He said he also does not know whether the move to Reagan will be permanent. In other news, diplomatic sources in Paris say France has rejected U.S. and other nations' requests to hold off shipments of weapons-grade uranium to Iraq. Sources say the French have already sent the first enriched uranium shipment to the Iraqis. The sources expressed concern over the timing of the shipment because the research reactor that is to use the material is not scheduled to be completed until early next year. Bloody new fighting is reported in areas along the Thai-Cambodian frontier. Vietnamese units have attacked 2 Cambodian rebel positions in the region, but the bloodiest activity apparently involves rival groups of Cambodian smugglers. International Red Cross representatives risked their lives in rocket attacks to remove more than 80 wounded from one refugee camp attacked by a smuggler group, but they said they left behind scores more wounded and at least 100 dead. The controversial venting of radioactive krypton gas is complete at the crippled 3 Mile Island nuclear reactor building in Pennsylvania. Utility officials declared the venting complete this morning, saying only a tiny amount of krypton gas had to be vented during the last 17 hours of the operation. The gas had to be vented to allow the next stage of decontamination of the reactor building to begin. Independent presidential candidate John Anderson says Palestinians in Israeli-occupied territory should have a role in Middle East peace talks. At the end of a 4-day visit to Israel, Anderson told reporters there will be peace in the area, in his words, only when the rights of the Palestinians and Jews are recognized. Anderson then flew to Cairo, where he said he was carrying a message to Egyptian President Sadat from Israeli Prime Minister Begin. And finally, in world news, as a part of President Carter's proposed relief for the ailing automobile industry, the administration has announced plans to help minority-owned auto dealerships. It will provide $12 million in direct loans to such dealerships and give them access to even larger amounts of loan guarantees. The program is based on the premise that those dealerships have special problems in the current recession. In sports, first-round co-leader Amy Alcott faltered today on the front 9 of the Richland Country Club course, but Alcott managed to maintain par through 9 holes. Alcott started the day tied with Barbara Magnus after a 1-under par 70. She bogeyed the first hole, but birdied number 3 to go 1-under again. She dropped another stroke at the 5th hole and was even par through 27 holes. Veteran center Bill Walton of the San Diego Clippers has been given a clean bill of health by a team of physicians. Walton earned nearly $1 million last season while playing in just 14 games for the NBA club. Walton took a thorough 3-hour examination yesterday by his personal physician and 4 other orthopedic surgeons at a suburban LA hospital. Doctors have suggested a training plan for Walton and says he will appear at the start of training camp in excellent shape. Bill indicates that he now feels better than he ever has in at least the last 2 years. Presently outside our studios, we have a temperature of 75 degrees Fahrenheit. That's 24 Celsius. The relative humidity is 71%, and the barometer is 30.00 and holding steady. Time now, 2 o'clock. This is WMRT, Marietta, Ohio. Shades of jazz, more shades, this more jazz here. And stay tuned at 5 o'clock for Information 88 News.